Good morning. Well, got an email and very interesting. It says, I challenge you, with everybody being at home, to make wine with only things that you can buy at the grocery store. So, you know what? Challenge accepted. Hey everybody, Brandon here, and today I have accepted the challenge of making a wine that utilizes only things that you can purchase in the grocery store, which means no brewer's yeast or anything of that nature. This is strictly what you can buy off the shelf. So, nothing to it but to do it. People are going to be like, well, how are you going to do that? Well, it's not that hard. So, first thing I'm going to do is get a cup. To go along with my other cup. And good morning. This is a Sunday morning after all, and I'm having my coffee. So, basically, it's super simple, guys. This is not rocket science in the least. First thing you're going to need is some juice. This is 100% grape juice. And I picked these up at my local Walmart. Ingredient says grape juice from concentrate, and it goes into what that is: water, grape juice concentrate, ascorbic acid, and citric acid. Well, ascorbic acid and citric acid naturally occur in the grapes anyway, so I'm not concerned about it. But sulfates, sulfites, stuff of that nature to preserve, you don't want that. So this is going to be great for our purposes. And you're going to need 2 cups of sugar, just plain white table sugar. And to top it off, 1 packet of bread yeast. And now I like Fleischmann's bread yeast. I've used this many a time before when I first started doing this, and it works very well. On top of that, you're going to need a funnel, a 1-gallon jug, an airlock, and a stopper or a bung. That's it. Some additional equipment that I'm going to be utilizing today is going to be, of course, my graduated cylinder and hydrometer, and my handy dandy turkey baster. Okay, let's get started. Super easy. I'm gonna hydrate my yeast. Now, this is not a yeast starter. This is simply making sure that everything is still good with the yeast, because let's face it, we don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelf. So I'm going to put that in my little cup, and as you see me before, I'm just going to add some of the juice that we are going to be fermenting. That's enough. and then give it a stir. And like I said, this is not a yeast starter. Yeast starter is totally different. I used to do yeast starters when I first started home brewing. I kind of got out of that because it seemed like it was more work than was necessary. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I am using bread yeast. And you can smell once it starts going and everything. And I'm just going to let that sit there and get happy. So, next thing you're going to do, take your glass jug and your dry funnel. You don't want to use a wet funnel because it will create a nightmare. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, is add my 2 cups of sugar to my 1 gallon jug. And voila, there it is. Then I'm going to add some of my juice to the jug. And this should be about halfway. Yeah, well, a little less than half. But that's fine, I can live with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stopper. Oh, and you did remember to sanitize everything with Star San, right? Right. Okay, good. All right, put your stopper in. This is going to do 2 things. One, we're going to shake this up and mix in all of that sugar with our juice first and foremost. But second, we're also introducing oxygen to this must. And the yeast need the oxygen in order to work. Okay. So once I feel that I've got enough oxygen in here and the sugar's all good and dissolved, we'll go on to the next step, which this doesn't take long at all. Now, on this particular wine here, this is not going to be a dry wine. This is actually going to be kind of a sweet red wine. So if you don't like it as sweet, just cut back on your sugar. It's that simple. Now, as you can see, right here, full of oxygen, everything's mixed up really nice. So, what I'm going to do is take my funnel and I'm going to open my second jug of juice. And I'm going to pour some of this in here. Okay, and I'm going to hold off there because I still need to pitch my yeast, which has been in the cup here just for a short period of time. Yep, you can really kind of smell it now. And it just lets you know, yeah, we're still here, we're still working, we're good to go. Now, as far as the foam goes, don't fear the foam. Some of this is from the Star San that was used to sanitize. But a lot of this is just oxygen mixing with the sugars and everything that's created this kind of a foam blanket, if you will. But don't be afraid of it. So I'm going to pitch my yeast. And there's a little residual, so I'm going to add some more juice to the cup. Give that a swirl. And pour that in. All right. Now, well, good morning to you, girl. That's my girl, Gracie. So now I've got this in here. I'm going to mix this up a little bit before I get it too full to do anything with. And it's mainly, I want to try and knock down some of this foam, but I also want to make sure that the yeast gets mixed in to the wort or the must. Now just remember, with beer it's wort, with wine it's must, but it means kind of the same thing all the way around. And then we're going to top off with our juice. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for now because I do have so much foam. Now, I want to bring the juice level higher up, probably another inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause this, give this foam time to kind of settle out, then I'm going to top it off, and when I do, I'll come back and I'll show you what we're doing to finish up this red wine. Okay, and we're back. I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. That's my maximum fill line that I feel comfortable, because I still want to allow head space for this for fermentation. So I'm going to put the stopper back in, give it one final mix, because I put new juice in along with everything else. Now, what I tell new brewers and winemakers is don't get greedy. What I mean by don't get greedy, you know, you want to try and make as much product as possible, and I understand that, but at the same time, you have to be careful. Otherwise, this could take off from you, and you will have a colossal disaster on your hands. So, the little bit of juice that's left, drink it, enjoy it. It's good stuff. Now, what I want to do now that everything's together is I want to take a hydrometer reading and see where this wine is sitting for our potential alcohol. And like I said, the bread yeast has kind of a low alcohol tolerance anyway, so you will wind up with a sweet red wine when all is said and done. Okay, let's see where we're at. So I'm at 1.100. That is just fine and dandy with me. Now, as I stated earlier, my hydrometer has been sanitized. My cylinder's been sanitized. This has all been sanitized. And as far as putting air in here, you do want oxygen in here for the yeast. So I'm just going to pour this right back in. Just like that. No fuss, no muss. Now, all that's left to do is to take our stopper, aka the bone, and I'm going to spray this down with a little star sand, get some of this juice off of here real quick, and then kind of dry it off a little bit before I put it on. Alright. Put that in just like that. And then my airlock. This is less than $2. Just go on Amazon. They sell them. Pick them up. I've used these for years and years and years. The only time I ever had one break was when we were moving from out of state, and that it was never because of brewing issues. So just make the little $2 investment. I mean, anybody can come up with $2. Where there's a will, there's a way. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in some star sand. And what this is going to do is this is going to basically create a one-way valve where your CO2 from the fermentation is going to be able to get out, but nothing's going to be able to get in, especially bugs. And not just the creepy crawly kind, but the kind that can cause infections. And as you can see, it's already starting to show some pressure in here, which is perfect. That's what we want. So all you have to do now at this point is take this, put it in a dark place, that's not going to get very cold at all. You want to maintain, as close to 65 to 70 degrees as possible. And that's just so your yeast works well and they don't get stressed. How long am I going to let this sit? About a month. And then what we'll do is we'll come back. We'll take a gravity reading and see what our final ABV is. And what we'll do is we will go ahead and rack this to secondary and allow it to clear. Now, a big difference that you're going to see on this versus the commercial brewing yeast is the bread yeast doesn't really clear out as well as quickly. But that's the thing. We can manage it. We have time. We're just going to allow it to do its thing. So that's it, folks. 2 cups of sugar, grape juice, Fleischmann's bread yeast, a jug, and an airlock. How much more simple can you get? So thank you for watching, and please, you keep those questions coming. If you have a challenge, throw it my way. I'll see if it's possible or not. If it is, I'll let you know and I'll put it up on video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Tell your friends and family about us over here. And as always, just stay safe during these times. Practice social distancing, and we're going to get through this together. You guys have a great day.